Brodes Media.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining today's show. A few updates before we talk about the Joel Embiid news that Woj dropped on us. One, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining us. Number two, every Wednesday we run a Hump Day giveaway over on my Twitter page at Brodes81. We're giving away a Joel Embiid jersey. Make sure you attack that giveaway and get yourself involved. Three, I wrote a blog for the Brodes Media website where I said, "Come on, Doc!" That's the name of it. Come on, Doc! If you want to read it, link is in the description, or you can go to brodesmedia.com and hit on blogs, and you will see everything that I wrote. It is a fun little read, maybe a nice little cup of joe in the morning, a cup of coffee, read the blog. So that is there for you as well. Oh, yeah, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. twitch.tv/bros_media. We play MLB, we play Call of Duty, we play NHL, we play games. It's fun. Be there. All right, now you can enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? We finally have an update on Joel Embiid, and he is now listed as doubtful for Game 5. And it's not great news. There's no denying that. It's not what we wanted to see. After Game 4 was over, my gut told me, and remember, I was very emotional at the time. I was flipping out on Doc Rivers. I was very disgusted with Ben Simmons at the free throw line. So the Joel Embiid injury, weirdly, and I know it's odd, and I was probably an outlier, but that was almost secondary or third on my list because I was so fed up with the garbage that I saw displayed out on the court in late game situations. I didn't feel it was going to hold Joel Embiid out for any serious amount of time. And then you get the news today, not that he's ruled out, because he's not. He's just listed as doubtful. And apparently the plane broke down and they got back into Philadelphia super late last night, or I guess you could say early this morning. So that definitely impacted the way that this all played out. I don't know. I don't really know if that was anything to really change when we got the memo. I believe that this was methodical, the way that the 76ers handle their previous injury reports and their previous injury situations. They like to hide things. They like to feel sneaky. They like to slither around and maneuver around certain things to hold on for as much information as humanly possible. John Clark is reporting that it's pretty much a sore knee, and that's where we're at. And he spoke to people that said optimistic long-term, as if long-term isn't really a problem. I guess for me, if we're even discussing long-term, why are we even discussing long-term? Why is that even coming out of anybody's mouths if it's just a sore knee? Of course that wouldn't keep anybody out long-term. So was there any sort of fear that it could be something? Is that why that it's even mentioned? Well, just to be clear, we're optimistic it won't be long-term. Well, why are we even having that if? Why is it even an if? Why? Why is if? Well, if it's something long-term. No! Is there something to that angle? I'm just trying to cross all my T's and dot all my I's because Joel Embiid is clearly a very important piece to the puzzle. This thing doesn't work without Joel Embiid. So what does this mean if he doesn't play Game 5? This squad has enough talent. You're at home. You have an electric building behind you that's going to be full capacity. You have Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. You have enough firepower to take down this opponent. So there's no excuses. No matter if he plays or whatever, if he doesn't play, if he does not play on Wednesday night, I don't want to give this team a free pass. I don't want to hear it from one individual that, well, they lost because Joel wasn't there. No. You're at home. Ben, step up. Tobias, step up. Seth Curry and George Hill are also on the injury report. It looks like for Seth Curry, he has an ankle injury, and for George Hill, it's a left knee contusion, but both of them are listed as probable. And just to be fair here, Seth Curry before Game 3 was listed as probable as well, and he came out guns a-blazing and knocked down a ton of shots, and him and Danny Green were both contributing at a really nice pace, so that doesn't mean it will limit him or change the way that he plays. It doesn't also mean that he's going to have some fantastic game because he did in Game 3, because in Game 4, he could not make a bucket from behind the arc, and you need Seth Curry to knock down his shots in that area. That's his bread and butter. That's what helps this team. When Danny Green and Seth Curry get going, this squad is essentially unbeatable. It's the nights where they're not clicking that makes everything murky and gets everything ugly, and you have to maneuver differently because, well, those threes are not falling. So Anthony Gargano stated earlier this morning to open up his midday show on 97.5 The Fanatic, basically with what he's hearing, he would be shocked if he doesn't play Game 5. This is prior to the news. But he's basically saying that what he's hearing internally is it's not anything crazy. Now, maybe they're being very cautious and they're thinking we can get by this series without utilizing Joel Embiid, and then we can just grab him rest as the team finishes the job. As much as I demand them to do that, and I'm sure the Sixers do feel they have a good enough team to make it happen, you don't put yourself at a disadvantage because of a small percentage of Joel Embiid being injured if it's not anything that really needs him to sit out, you know? If it's something where it matters and he does need the time and it actually is a reason to sit out actually, not cautiously, actually, well, I'm more open to that conversation. If it's because you just are afraid and you really don't want to test it, even though you can test it, then I'm going to be pissed off because you're just holding him back because you're so nervous. You can't just hold everyone back all the time. And guess what? If this game goes back to Washington, even though the Sixers team is not going to blow a 3-0 series lead. Let me say that again. This Sixers team is not going to blow a 3-0 series lead. But if it does go to Game 6 and they do fall without Joel Embiid or something of that nature, it's just unnecessary play that needs to happen before you meet either the New York Knicks or the Atlanta Hawks. There's no reason to put that many more miles on your body. That's what would annoy me more. It wouldn't be, oh, well, they at least still won the series. Now, they're going to win the series. They're going to win the series, but you don't need to put that much more pressure and stress on your body in the first round when you can get away with a 5-game series, wrap it up, wash your hands, wash your fingers, dry them off, put your feet up and relax, and you wait for your next opponent. The Hawks might close it out in 5, which would be a little crazy. I do believe the Knicks at home will force a Game 6 to bring it back to Atlanta. It's just so much more important. While the Milwaukee Bucks are hanging around, they beat the Miami Heat nice and easy. All right, let's wait. Let's wait for Brooklyn. That is important, and that is valuable. So don't let this slip, and don't put yourself at a disadvantage if it's not necessarily needed to put yourself at a disadvantage. But knowing the Sixers, they probably are. I do think internally there probably is a little bit of some nervousness with it. So Tyrone Johnson of 97.5 also mentioned that the rumor has it it's not as bad as maybe things looked yesterday. And this was prior to Woj dropping the bomb. So Gargano and Tyrone both say this. And Tyrone said it's a rumor, things are happening. I wonder if him and Anthony Gargano had the same source, or if Anthony Gargano is his source when he's saying that rumor has it it's not as brutal. I don't think it is, but it is weird that it's taking so long to get your information essentially both times, at halftime and after the game was over. So the way that Woj pretty much brought it up was he had his MRI today. He will be evaluated more in the next day. It did buckle a bit. There's no denying it. The knee did buckle a bit as he fell. There were people who were really upset with him because he should recognize that he doesn't need to drive there. And if you just cruise and complete your job the way that you need to, being up 3-0 and just taking advantage of a mismatch or taking advantage of any matchup you have because you can, if you just went out there and balled normally without trying to force such a big play, you wouldn't have put yourself in that situation. It's the NBA playoffs. It's the NBA playoffs, and Joel Embiid is playing at an MVP level. I'm not questioning if he needed to attack the Wizards hard. This is why superstars are superstars. This is why these premier athletes have a different mentality than we do. They're wired differently. They're dogs, and they make plays like that happen. He's a 7'2" guy playing at the top of the world at the center position while everyone else are these small guards except for Jokic who tear up the league. No. Joel is going to try and put people on posters. He's going to Euro step down the lane and lay it up beautifully or finish with a big slam. He's going to go for the highlight reel plays. Am I going to be upset when he does that and something negative happens? No. I mean, that's what makes Joel Embiid special. Think about all the highlights you've seen where you laugh and you slap your friend in the face because you couldn't believe what you just saw, and you're screaming and you're jumping up and you're high-fiving your family. Why do you do that? It's not because Joel Embiid just hits another mid-range jumper. It's because he makes those type of plays, just like we saw in the previous game where he missed the big slam. So what does he do? He tries it again literally seconds later, and he completes the job. To be mad at Joel Embiid for trying that is outrageous, in my opinion. It really is. So what can the Sixers do here? We've seen the Mike Scott experience, and I know that's probably going to make a lot of people cringe, and I understand why that is. So I'm just throwing it out there because we've seen it. If you want to play that stretch game, Dwight Howard could play the 5, although I think we all can agree that him starting is not the best role for him right now. Is it your best option? I mean, it's between that and I think starting Ben Simmons at the 5 and inserting somebody else in the lineup. We've seen Tyrese Maxey ball. It doesn't seem like the moment is too big for him, especially not in this series. He's not afraid. He plays hard no matter what. The moment is all his. He takes it. Give me the basketball. I'm going to go make plays. I'm going to hit that floater. I'm going to knock down a 3. I'm going to be a motor. You can see his speed. You can see his acceleration. You can see the way that he works. Even if he's just running somewhere on the floor. Let's say he has the ball. He passes it over to, I'm just hypothetically saying, Ben Simmons at the top of the three-point line, and he's running around to the other side. He's just active, young, fresh legs. He's rolling around the court, and that changes the way the other team's defending. It's not the same way, but it just reminds me sometimes with some of these offensive sets, like J.J. Redick, where J.J. Redick's moving around and he's constant, so defenders are aware. When I watch Maxey, I just see this young cat running around the floor the whole time. It's almost as if his motor never stops. I love it. Can you slide him into the starting rotation and have Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons? Is that something that you could rock? By the way, Bertans is going to be out for the Wizards. Not that that's game-changing, but it is a key part to their three-point shooting. I guess it could be game-changing. That's just where their roster is. Their roster is at the point where saying Bertans is not available could actually be something that changes the series. That was one of their monster moves, if you will, was switching Raul Neto and Bertans for a starting lineup spot. So I guess that's unfair to say. I'm just so accustomed to having more significant players than that. It's almost laughable to think that that's as serious as it is. So what are you going to do at the 5? Could it be Maxey coming in? Could it be George Hill coming in? And I know all day long on sports radio here in the city, as it should have been, was the topic of Ben Simmons. And one thing is, do you take out Ben Simmons late in the game? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. You could take out Ben Simmons at the end of the game. No one's saying for every possession. After the 2-minute mark, you're good to go. So if it's 2:55 to go or 3:10 to go and another team is hacking a Ben, yeah, you can put George Hill in here. That's one of the reasons why you got George Hill. You got him in this team and in this city because you knew that he was a veteran presence, that we talked about it for months. That if Ben Simmons struggles, you can put him in to run your offense in the half-court set down in the ending of the games, down when you need it most. When you take pride in your late-game possessions and you need to run your offensive sets, that's one of the check marks that you ticked off during the George Hill checklist when you made that move, Daryl Morey. So, yes, taking Ben Simmons out for 3 or 4 possessions from the 3-minute mark to the 2-minute mark, that is something that you need to at least consider instead of trotting him out there at the line and say, well, Ben, this is on you. At some point, you can't just ask the man to automatically start making his shots. And I don't care if it hurts his feelings or not, or what type of statement that makes to the player. You're trying to win a championship. What's more important? Doing what puts your team in the best position possible to win, and Ben Simmons missing free throws does not do that. Yes, he passes the ball. He defends. Yes. But for 3 possessions, can George Hill slide in and give you a little bit more if the payoff is you're not getting hack-a-bend to death? I think it's very possible. To act as if that's impossible is a shame. Also, what does hack-a-bend do? Your team's out of rhythm. You're getting no real possessions. You're not getting any run for a minute or so in time, and it gets so clunky in basketball time. It gets clunky. It gets all over the place, and then you're out of sync. You're out of rhythm, and you're not able to run as smoothly as you wanted to run because the game slowed down and got really awkward and bizarre, and half of your team, not half, every single player but one, is standing at the free throw spots waiting for the shots to not fall. So, yes, you can go in another direction. They weren't getting stops on the other end throughout those 3 possessions. No. And do I think this is going to be something a team does every game? Absolutely not. I don't think you're going to see this all the time or every single game for the rest of the playoffs. Teams are just going to wrap their arms around it. They might. Who knows? They might. It could get that ugly. I don't think it's going to happen forever. But just the fact that this can cause you a game, and in a series where you're not playing a team that's garbage, that game that you lose could be the difference in a lot. It could be the difference in the series. It could be the difference in winning a championship. It can be. So because it is very possible, it's not a minor percentage, it's a legitimate chance to be a playoff-changing flaw. You got to put your team in the best position possible, and that might be Ben Simmons coming off of the floor. It might be. We'll see how this team responds in Game 5. It's set up for them to just take control. They have the keys. That has been the motto. They have the keys to the car. So do not let this thing spiral out of control. Take control of the wheel. Let's talk about DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook is not only my favorite sportsbook, but also America's top-rated sportsbook. I love using DraftKings Sportsbook. It is easy to navigate, has plenty of instructions for new bettors, and nearly limitless ways to get in on all the action. My friends and family have been loving DraftKings Sportsbook, and I know you will too. Listen to this great offer. If you download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up, you could turn $1 into $100 in free credits. Bet on any basketball team of your choice to win their next game, and if they do, you will claim $100 in free credits. That's promo code Brodes for a limited time. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Wager paid out inside credits. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. More on the Doc Rivers thing. I knew I lost my mind last night, and my blood was actually boiling after I heard Doc Rivers speak. I just think he crossed the line. There's no reason to start attacking media members and start attacking fans. There's a way to approach this where you can logically discuss it, and you're not throwing Ben Simmons under the bus. We recognize, like you said, you'd rather trade. You're okay. You're okay with 1-point possessions, while the other team is banging threes, and you're talking about crucial parts of a game when it's a very close game, it's a tied basketball game, and you're trading 1 point for what they're making on the other side. That's dumb, right? I mean, it's just a dumb statement. No one in the NBA today is going to be thrilled with 1-point possessions. That is a joke of a statement. No one's asking Ben Simmons to score 40 points. No one's demanding you to bench Ben Simmons for the entire game. So those 3 things that you said, it's just so wild and so to the extreme. Why can't you be like, we know Ben needs to hit those free throws and we believe in him because we watch him put in the work every day with Sam Cassell. We know he's a great basketball player and we have no issues with him being out there late in the game, and we're going to continue to keep him out there late in the game. That's fine. You're not attacking the fans. You're not calling us stupid. You're not attacking D. Lynam and Kevin Kincaid, who asked very fair questions. There's ways to handle this. I believe in Ben. I believe in Ben a lot. If another team tries to do this, I have so much faith and trust that Ben Simmons will go up to the line and knock those down. No one's denying that he needs to be better in that area, and he knows that too. So he's going to do it. Or we're going to believe in him to do it next time. Or we have so much faith in Ben Simmons. That's an easy way to approach the situation where you acknowledge that it was a problem instead of saying, oh, yeah, you know what, I'm okay with 1 of 2. 1 of 2's fine. Doc, no, it's not. No, it's not. That's a moronic statement. And to say I'm going to question your knowledge about basketball and this and that, stop it. You're coming at us like we're not intelligent. We're uneducated. No, that's very unfair to do, and I don't appreciate that. And I love Doc Rivers. He's a hell of a coach. I don't appreciate that at all. All right, so let's go to the Anytime Hotline to hear what you have to say about Joel Embiid missing. Nope, unfair to say. To talk about Joel Embiid and him being listed as doubtful according to a Woj bomb that just dropped.
The Embiid news doesn't really surprise me, to be honest with you. I honestly was thinking even if he could play, if he was probable, let's say, they might sit him anyway. Or they would put him on a minutes restriction, and depending on how the game goes, that's how much he would be used. But it's a tough go for the Sixers. Look, I mean, I think they beat the shit out of the Wizards regardless of Embiid not playing tomorrow night, most likely. But they can't win the title without him. As he goes, so goes their season. So if when they do the follow-up inspection of his knee and they find something, and it may be more serious than let on, the Sixers season is done if Joel Embiid can't play or can only play at 75%.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. 75%. It got cut off there. But I agree with you completely. Everyone knows at this point, Joel Embiid, you need him. He is the anchor. Without the anchor, you have nothing. So, yeah, and it's interesting. So, if they did it on purpose and they're resting him just on purpose, shame on them. And I feel they can win, and I'm sure a lot of fans feel that they can win, but that's just ridiculous if you're that nervous and you're so scared and you're very timid to do it. No, there is a reasonable ground here. I'm starting to feel more of a chance of something being a problem than I did yesterday and than I did this morning because it does seem fishy. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel like there was something going on behind the scenes because of the amount of time, no media availability. Everything seems to be on track for one of those scenarios that we've seen over so many years. And I actually heard someone talk about this today. I just think it's so damn hysterical. Here we are, year 4 or so into this bad boy, and we're talking about a Joel Embiid injury and Ben Simmons not shooting the basketball and missing his free throws. We are in the same exact position as we were a few years ago, and that's not funny. It's not a good spot to be in. It's pain. It hurts. It's not something that feels good, but it's almost like something that's so not funny that it's funny. It's almost because you're hurting so much from hearing the news and that comment actually hits home so hard that you laugh in awkwardness and you laughed in sadness. That's somewhat what I was doing. You're right. How many times do you think any sports media market in this town has been blasting the conversation of Ben Simmons? And to be fair, it's not wrong to do it. It's right to do it. It should be discussed as heavily as it is because it's so bizarre and it's so out there on another planet that this is the scenario that we have here with these players and with Ben Simmons. Think about that. Think about the 4 hours over and over and over again on every platform of ripping apart or defending Ben Simmons year after year after year after game after series after playoff after regular after everything. It's wild, and we are still doing it, And it should be this way. But once again, it's laughable because of how sad it truly is that, this is kind of where we are. For Ben, this is a big game because if that is the case and we are rocking without the big fella, without the big man, go do it, dude. Go do it. And I know he can. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does. He needs that extra motivation. There's always a push needed for Ben. I'm not going to make the All-Star game. I need to make the All-Star game. Boom, he makes it. It's getting harped on that I can't score. What do they do in game 2? They set it up where Ben is going to score at will, get you your 20-plus points, and be a dominating force after game 1 and the controversy surrounding that performance. There's always something in years past where it was Jared Dudley or whoever. He would always attack when the pressure got so loud. Yesterday, I think a lot of pressure got to him, and he's going up against a team that he can absolutely annihilate and beat a ton of matchups. So for Ben, I fully expect him to go and take control. I just feel, I've said that a lot of times this year in certain moments, and Ben didn't necessarily have that. This team needs Ben, and this team needs Joel. The two of them together matter extremely. So he has it in him. Will we get it? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. I also wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. And that's why Ben Simmons is so frustrating. And that's why we have the debate about Ben Simmons every single damn day.
Yo, what's up, bro? Zach here. Just talking about the Joel Embiid situation. For me, I just think it's a little concerning moving forward if we don't have Embiid, obviously. I mean, that's like an obvious thing, but I just think when I was watching that last game and Joel got injured whenever he did, I think like the next 10 possessions after he left the game were all just turnovers, just like sloppy turnovers. Even one of the commentators said that Doc Rivers wasn't going to be happy with these turnovers as they made another turnover. So I'm just concerned with this team moving forward. Whatever, I don't know like the situation or whatever, but definitely without Embiid, they're in trouble. So hopefully he comes back soon so that they can kind of settle down and go back to playing how they were before.
I do think it's different when you lose a player mid-game, and then when you prepare and you're ready to compete without Joel Embiid. You get ready with certain plays and certain designs, and you change the way that you approach the game, obviously, without someone who can crucify anyone in his way at will. So you're planned for it. You're more ready to go for it. You're mentally engaged compared to when things spiral out of control. And sure, it would be nice to have someone that can cool everything down and have a calming presence to kind of take a deep breath. Hey, everyone, relax. We'll be all right. I wish that happened in Game 4. It didn't. It's hard to beat a team 4 games in a row regardless, and I'm fully aware of that. If you transition, though, to, okay, the last couple of days, you'd have – well, yesterday the game happened. You'd have today, and then you'd have early tomorrow morning to kind of walk through some stuff in your mind, mentally prepare. Doc Rivers can get his message across. I don't think the offense will look as turnover heavy when you know what you're doing. You're more set. You're more engaged. You're more in that moment knowing that Joel's not there. I don't think you'll see as many turnovers. I'll tell you what, though, all those blocks were the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Tobias Harris getting blocked at will. Nonstop. For them to get blocked, that just shows you that they were making poor decisions on their shot selection. They weren't really focusing in on when they were going to attack, when they were going to shoot, when they were going to kiss it off the glass, and give credit to the Wizards for reading that. They were clearly in good position, and they were able to rebound, or there was good recovery involved. That's something that has to change, though. You can't be getting blocked that many times. I'm excited to see Tyrese Maxey, though. It seems like he's just ready. He's ready. He's ready to rock. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to make any mistakes, but he wants his number called, and he wants the basketball, and he wants to run this offense, and he wants to take shots, and he's willing to do it all. He wants to attack the rim. He wants to facilitate. Tyrese Maxey, he wants to defend. Ain't that the damn truth after that beautiful rejection after just scoring a shot? He wants to have some late shot clock heaves from deep. Bang. Nothing but net. I am fully in on Tyrese Maxey. It's super fun to watch him run around the floor. It really is.
Hey, Brodes. I want to say every time someone of credibility, meaning a Hall of Fame coach a la Doc Rivers or Coach Popovich, praise Ben Simmons for his play, they have just set the franchise back years, okay? When Doc Rivers first press conference, when he joined the team, he said he's not worried about Ben Simmons shooting. That is the reason why Ben Simmons cannot shoot right now to this day, because he's validated by people who are respected in the business.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's strange. It's strange. Brett Brown did it. Popovich does it. Doc Rivers does it. I mean, it really is crazy. It's something to do with Ben. It really is. It's something to do with Ben, because these coaches are smart. These coaches are very intelligent. And so are we, recognizing what the type of talent Ben Simmons is. They know how big spacing is. They know how important it is. They know that the wall will be built in the playoffs and will take away and eliminate the paint. They see all of this. There has to be something with the psyche of Ben Simmons that they are afraid of. Maybe it's as simple as, this is the new athlete. This is 2021. You can't be hard on these players anymore. You can't bring that level of harshness. You can't be severe with these players because they don't handle the pressure the way that they used to. So there's a mental side of this that they are afraid to tap into. Or they just know, this form ain't working. I can't force this guy to shoot. If he shoots, the other team gets what they want because he has no touch. He has no feel. He has no sides of that. Remember when he was talking about all those videos of him shooting those jumpers? Oh, man, wait for the bubble. Wait for the bubble. Then he's got videos of 5-on-5 ball in the offseason with Devin Booker taking shots and all that. I mean, it's crazy to think about all that, and here we still are. I don't know why they do it. My only reason that comes to my mind that makes the most sense to me is they feel there's something that they can't push him hard to do, and it's that, because he'll crack. He's sensitive about it. He's too sensitive. And because of that, they have to be cautious and tiptoe around the message, which is just extreme and absurd, if you ask me.
This will definitely show how much depth this team really has, man. Are they really going to be the first team ever to blow a 3-0 series lead? Or will they rally together at home and end it right here? Only time, if you ask me.
Only time will tell, huh? Only time will tell. I'm not going to go to the extreme of now we're thinking about blowing a 3-0 series lead. It's just not going to happen. It's impossible. So I think that's a little extreme. I think that's going overboard. I'm curious to see when we get the next update. How bad is it? If he's going to sit out Game 5. Doubtful is doubtful. Doesn't mean he won't play. We've seen Joel battle through a lot more this season. I'm sure, we'll get something soon, I guess. In the beginning, as soon as it happened, I was so focused on other things that it didn't really impact me. And I thought, all right, I saw the knee buckle. I saw him hold his hip. I also watched him play a couple minutes before he left the game. I think he'll be all right, and it was more precautionary for that game. Then we get the news that he's doubtful, and we're missing so much time in between getting some info that I started to question a bit. Is this the Sixers being snaky, being a snake, and somewhat trying to slither their way through some of this drama? And it is more possible as the seconds go by, and I can't rule anything out with this franchise. So I feel worse about it now than I did after the game. I don't think it's anything wild. Sore knee, and maybe as precautionary as they can be, but that doesn't make me happy if that is the case. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. Before I let you go, Orbit Energy and Power. They are home to your solar experts. If you're looking to go solar, $0 electric bills. Get a water purification system, clean, healthy water for you and your family. Battery energy storage, tree removals, electrical upgrades, backup energy services, you name it. Orbit Energy and Power. Their phone number is 800-836-3987. That's 800-836-3987. They do work in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Florida. Give them a call. 800-836-3987 or orbitenergy.us is their website. The link and information is down below. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.